Created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, Spider-Man would make his debut in Amazing Fantasy number 15 in the summer of 1962. The wall crawler has dominated comics, TV, movies, and video games for the past 61 years, becoming one of the most famous superheroes of all time. Toys are no different, where Spider-Man is seemingly unmatched. Any store selling action figures is bound to have something related to the webhead. I'll be looking at one toy line in particular today, Marvel Legends, a 6-inch scale series of Marvel action figures based on comics, movies, and other forms of media, and deciding which Spider-Man is the best. Now, some rules before I start this list. Any spider-related character is allowed, and there could be multiple of each. This list isn't going to be exclusive to Peter Parker, but yeah, you should expect to see him a lot. Also, this list will only have Hasbro figures. Toy Biz put out some bangers back in the day, but I want to focus on more recent figures, and also I don't own any of them. Starting off with some honorable mentions. First up, the Advanced Suit 2.0. This is one of my favorite designs of all time. I love the white spider. I just wish the figure had a unique sculpt to capture those intricate details of the suit, and also some more accessories. Matching hands would have been nice. Next up, we got the 90s animated. My favorite Spidey show by far. I like it more than Spectacular, sue me. I love this head sculpt. It captures that animated look perfectly. However, I just wish the body was a little bit taller and bulkier. More closely resemble what he was shown as in the show. Next up is Ben Reilly. I love this suit, but there's a certain look for Ben that I like just a tad bit more. Spider-Girl, one of my favorite spider characters of all time. Articulation is a bit dated, and she only came with web flipping hands. I really hope Hasbro have the chance to revisit her again in the future. I would love an updated version of this figure. And lastly, we have Pizza Spider-Man. This mold was a staple for Spider-Man figures in the 2010s and was amazing back then, but we've gotten better molds since then. But I still wanted to give this figure the respect it deserves and recognize how much it contributed to the Marvel Legends line.
Pizza time.
All right, let's get this list started. And coming in at number 10, it is the homemade suit from Spider-Man Homecoming. Using the suit at the beginning of his days as Spider-Man, Peter Parker would again have to don this outfit after having his new suit be revoked by Tony Stark. This figure was released in the Vulture Build-A-Figure wave in 2017. And spoiler, he's going to be the only movie figure on the list. Now, a lot of people tend to not gravitate towards like MCU figures, but I just feel like this is the perfect one that like is able to transcend that boundary between comics and movies, because this fits in with a comic display perfectly well. And with the hoodie piece, you just get like that extra bit of posability out of this guy, hang him down upside down like that. Nice. You also have a bonus option if you have another Tom Holland head laying around. Yeah, this looks so good on this body. I love it. Yeah, this figure is just top notch on all fronts. I kind of like Toad in the last list. I'm kind of regretting not putting this one a little bit higher. But yeah, who knows? Maybe a year from now, it'll work its way up. But for right now, yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming homemade suit makes the number 10 spot.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
And coming in at number 9, it is the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, otherwise known as First Appearance Spider-Man. Debuting in that comic book that I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, Amazing Fantasy number 15, this look has Spider-Man rocking a red and black suit, as opposed to his more well-known red and blue. This figure was released in the Beyond Amazing line back in 2022. I mean, what can I say about this figure that hasn't been said already? It is one of the best molds for Spider-Man to date. If it's tied with another one that might be showing up later on. But this figure it's just perfect on all fronts. The only thing that holds it back for me is kind of like the height. Really, he's a little short for my liking. But yeah, it's just such a good figure. He also does have those web wings that look so good. It throws me back to that Steve Ditko art from the 60s, him with those web lines in between. I would have liked like some a little bit of painted lines maybe, because it looks a little weird, just a flat color, but I mean, it's still amazing. And here he is with them spread out. One gripe I have with this figure though is that the web wings just fall off so easily. You could see it already like falling out of the hole right there. If you put them into any like, yeah, see, they just fall out easy. It could get really frustrating really fast. But other than that, yeah, it's just a great figure. Great articulation and some stellar accessories that makes the Amazing Fantasy number 15 Spider-Man my pick for number 9. Coming in at number 8, we have the Scarlet Spider. A clone of Peter Parker, Ben Reilly, aka the Scarlet Spider, would make his debut in this costume in Web of Spider-Man number 118 in 1985. This figure was released in the second Marvel Retro Wave all the way back in 2018. Also, would be a very heavy inspiration for that homemade suit that we saw in Homecoming. So, yeah. This figure has a decent selection of accessories. I think the standout piece, though, is his alternate Ben Reilly head, which just looks so good. I really want to get like the Renew Your Vows head and swap the hair just so you have a photoreal face. But like it's pretty good as it is right now. Yeah, this has just been one of my favorite designs for a Spider-Man character, like of all time. I love the blue hoodie. It just appeals to me, the belt too, all the pouches, the unnecessary pouches. Yeah, it's really cool. Now, I did write the script and just finished all my research right before they announced that new Scarlet Spider figure, which looks so much better than this one, but this is still such a great figure, to have. And I love having this in the collection, it's a perfect representation of Ben Reilly from those early days, and it's the reason why it is number 8. Spectacular, spectacular, spectacular. And coming in at 7th place, we have the Iron Spider. A specialized metal suit built for Peter Parker by Tony Stark, the Iron Spider would make its debut in Amazing Spider-Man number 529 back in 2006. This figure was released in the Beyond Amazing line back in 2022. Now, this is a very hot take, but I actually like this design. I love the colors, and I say it's like a hot take because back in the day, this suit was extremely divisive. You either hated it or you loved it. The only thing I dislike about this, not just like the figure, but the design itself, is the fact that he doesn't have 4 Waldos. Which, if you don't know what a Waldo, it's these things, the legs that come out. I just imagine him having another one right here. I've like always wanted to make a custom, just like another one, just right there. I know it's not accurate to the source material, but it just looks a lot better. But hey, if those are annoying you, those Waldos, you can always just take them out from the pegs in the back. Yeah, it's such a cool figure too, because look at that metallic red and the gold. They just look so good together, man. Yeah, and I love that spider design on the center. For a stellar sculpt, some amazing articulation. That all earns Iron Spider the number 7 spot. And coming in at number 6, we have Retro Wave 1 Spider-Man. The look of this figure is lifted straight from the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man from the 70s and early 80s. This figure was released in Spider-Man Retro Wave 1 back in 2020. And yeah, this guy just became the standard for Marvel Legends Spider-Mans overnight. Like, you wanted to be the best one, you had to beat this. And now, now that's in 6th place, you can probably tell he he's been beaten out since then. But like he was at the top for a short while. Again, what can I say about this figure that hasn't been said already? This was the standard, after Pizza Spider-Man's like reign on top as the greatest Marvel Legend Spider-Man of all time. It was going to take a lot to dethrone him, and this guy came along and did just that. Like for all the newer collectors out there, I can't stress just how historic it was when this figure dropped. Like again, for years upon years, Pizza Spider-Man was on top. That was the mold they just kept going back to over and over and over again. And then this guy dropped, and it just like changed the game. Sadly, this guy's reign on top was short-lived. It feels like there's like a new best Spider-Man figure that comes out every other month at this point. But yeah, it's still such a good figure. Now, there are a lot of things about this figure that people don't like. He's too bulky. The pins on his arms look ugly. Look at that. Why are they red? It just looks so bad. His head is super small. He doesn't have great accessories. Of course, he only has the fists, the web flipping hands, and an alternate head. Here's that head that I'm talking about. Pretty good, but other figures have done it a little better. But like even with all that out of the way, he is still great, and I'm not just talking about like how historic this figure is just for like beating out Pizza Spider-Man. I'm saying just overall he is still such a great figure. I just like really love the paintwork on this figure most of all. Like I like the small spider on the chest and the spider on the back. It just looks so good. Articulation is still phenomenal even all these years later. It's just a great figure to have. And I harped on the accessories, but they're fine, really. It would have really benefited from some opened wall crawling hands, Retro Wave 1 Spider-Man is very well deserving of the number 6 spot just for how historic this figure is. Yeah, number 6. And coming in at number 5, we have Silk. Cindy Moon was your average teenage girl until she was bit by the very same radioactive spider that gave Peter Parker his superhuman abilities. She would make her debut as the superhero Silk in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, Number 4 in 2014. This figure released in an Amazon exclusive 2-pack alongside Dr. Octopus in the Beyond Amazing line back in 2022. Yeah, this is just one of those figures that I didn't buy at first, and I'm really glad I bought it now, considering how like steep in price it's gone up. Yeah, I was like, I already have a Silk. I don't need another one. But this one just blows that last one straight out of the water. First off, that unmasked head sculpt that you saw, beautiful, It's a lot better than the last one, which I should actually pull out right now since I have it off to the side. Look at the difference between these two. Yikes. This is okay, but this face right here looks amazing. I would actually like to put this hair onto this. Maybe. But yeah, as you can see, even the masked head sculpt looks so beautiful. I love this design, and the articulation is phenomenal as well. And her accessories really just like go a long way here. She comes with some open hands, some even more open hands. I guess these are like wall crawling hands. And then she comes with an alternate hand, which is, shooting out web from her fingertips, her power from the comics. Just a very, very cool accessory. Really wish we would have gotten them for both hands. Like, that would have been so cool. Oh, come on, Hasbro. Stop giving us incomplete sets of hands. But yeah, as you can see with this figure, she thick with it. She thick with it. I'm gross. I'm disgusting. I need to stop. And the paint apps are super crisp on her. Like, there's not a bad line on this figure whatsoever. Yeah, just all that that I just mentioned, it's just a phenomenal figure. Can't wait to see her in the next Spider-Man video game. Spoiler. Yeah, that's why Cindy Moon here gets the number 5 spot. And coming in at number 4, we have the Gamerverse Miles Morales. After training with Peter Parker for over 10 months, Miles Morales is temporarily tasked with protecting New York as the one and only Spider-Man. This figure released in late 2021 in the Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave. Miles Morales here comes with some amazing accessories, mainly just like hands, but yeah, just he came with 2 of these. I have one of them on another Miles Morales figure at the moment. But yeah, just look at that, the lightning, so great. All of his hands are great. He comes with some fists, some wall crawling, those electric Venom Strike hands, and some flipping hands. And he also has one more accessory, and this one is really bad actually. Because boy, who dis, like this is not Gamerverse Miles Morales. This is a good head for Miles Morales. Don't get me wrong, like no, this doesn't look right either. Yeah, if you put some like tack in there, yeah, maybe. It's a really bad head. I actually kind of regret not putting this one on the list. Maybe. But no, I just like this Miles Morales a little bit more than that one that I just showed because he's just a unique sculpt, he's brand new, tooling everything, pinless elbows, knees, those fists. You know how much I love the little knuckle bumps on costumes. Always looks great. But yeah, like it's such a good figure. He has some pretty awesome articulation and just super crisp paint apps, you know, and all those amazing accessories that earns Miles Morales Gamerverse the number 4 position. All right, top 3 time, and in third place we have Symbiote Spider-Man. First appearing in Amazing Spider-Man 252 in 1984, the black suit would be an instant hit among fans. This figure released in Spider-Man Retro Wave 2 in 2022. Now, what can I say about this figure? Like, first of all, it's using that Retro Wave 1 body mold, which I already went on earlier, like saying that, it's been surpassed since then by 2 other molds, but this one is still so freaking good. The problem with the pins, in the arms is well hidden because the whole suit is black. Same with the legs. You don't really notice the pins anymore. That's one thing. Another is that just the proportions of this black suit is a lot better than like that old Pizza Spider-Man body mold. I think it came out in, I want to say the same man Build-A-Figure wave. I could be wrong. That one is also phenomenal. I love the head sculpt for that one, but I love the proportions over here a lot better. The symbiote would obviously make Peter a little bit bigger, a little more menacing to the criminals, especially to Shocker. But yeah, he also has an open hand, and the web flipping hand just looks really good, especially when you compare it to the old one that didn't have those extra hands. Maybe the Craven set did. I never owned that one. I know it had an alternate head, but I'm not sure about the hands. But yeah, this guy is just a complete package. This is like really what the Retro Wave 1 should have had. It should have had those open hands. It would have made him just so much better. I'm not ashamed to admit that I think this is the best symbiote suit that we've gotten in the Marvel Legends line so far. Even like Toy Biz, Hasbro, it doesn't matter. This is the very best black suit Spider-Man that we've ever gotten in this line, at least. And yeah, for that reason, that earns this figure the number 3 spot. All right, and coming in at number 2, we have Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Spider-Man. Spider-Man teams up with Iceman and Firestar to take down enemies both old and new. Released as a Hasbro exclusive and then later a fan channel exclusive back in 2022. Yeah, you'll have to excuse me for the lack of poses I put this guy in because I actually just lost all of his hands. No, dang it. Yeah, that's a really big bummer for me. I lost his open hands and his web flipping hands. It just, it sucks so bad. But like even then, like this figure would have still made my number 2 spot. It's as close as you can get to a classic Spider-Man. Like truly, like this. When you think of like an old school Spider-Man, like this is the first one that'll come to mind. That amazing head sculpt, the red and blue. That blue being a darker blue, not a super dark blue, but it is dark. And of course, the logos right there. It's just the perfect Spider-Man figure for your classic collection. It is really. All the lines are super crisp for the most part. You get some misses here and there, which seems to be a trend for figures using this body mold. Like this one I have off to the side, the new Target exclusive Spider-Man. You could see like almost in the same area. It is just a miss in paint on that chest right there and right there. That's a little bit of a bummer for me, but it still doesn't detract from how awesome the articulation is on this guy. The paint apps are fine. The accessories were fine until I lost them. Dang it! But yeah, but for being that perfect classic Spider-Man that we all wanted so bad, this figure earns its place at number 2. All right, number 1 time. Who could it be? Who is the number 1 figure? The anticipation. Drum roll, please. Can we get a drum roll? Can we get a drum roll, ladies and gentlemen? Who is number 1? It's Renew Your Vows. He's the best one. Taking place during 2015's Secret Wars event, Renew Your Vows shows Peter and MJ as a happy couple protecting New York City together while also raising their young daughter. Hold on a sec. A reality where Peter is a happy man and he's with MJ? Impossible! What is this? This figure was released in 2022 in a 2-pack with Spinneret as a part of the Beyond Amazing line. And I'm also not ashamed to admit that this is what I think to be is the best Spider-Man so far in the line. Like, the very best. Like, trumps any of them. I get that that's probably a very hot take on my part, and I'm sorry if that offends you. Sorry, Noah. You can keep your amazing fantasy or amazing friends Spider-Man if you want, but this one right here is the very best. One detraction that I've seen a lot is that he's too bulky. No, this guy is not too bulky. You want to see bulky? Let's look at this guy. Now, they are using the same body, but this one has newer shoulders, which really hides that bulkiness that really, because he's just like a pitbull. His arms are spread out really wide. This guy, it keeps his arm a lot closer to his body, making him appear a lot skinnier. And plus, this is actually based on an older Peter Parker, much, much older. So, of course, it would make sense for him to be a lot bulkier at this time. He's eating from MJ now. He's no longer eating from Aunt May. He's eating MJ's food. And this is that head sculpt that I was talking about earlier when I was talking about kit bashing the Ben Reilly head, putting this hair onto this head, because it's just look how good the digital printing came out for this face. It looks so great. It's one of the best that Marvel Legends has done so far. And that little sideways smile, it just gives his figure just so much character. And of course, if you don't like that, you want his mask on, even the head is so great. I love this head sculpt. I love the eyes. I love how big it is compared to the body because it makes it look more natural. Big old logo. Yeah, that's the only downside I have with this figure is that big old logo in the center. And maybe the back logo too being a little too wide. But he also comes with a web flipping hand and a fisted hand, which give him a lot more posability options. Some super crisp paint, some great articulation, and some phenomenal accessories. That all earns Renew Your Vow Spider-Man the #1 spot on the top 10 best Spider-Man Marvel Legends figures of all time. Yeah, making this video was so much fun, and I really hope to make more top 10s in the future. I'm trying to make my next one a Star Wars The Black Series related video. I just don't know really the subject I'm going to go after. Maybe original trilogy, maybe prequel, who knows. But I want it to be Star Wars related. So yeah, all my Black Series fans, hang in there. Some content for you guys is coming soon. But yeah, that'll do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Anything you can do that support the channel will be greatly appreciated. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.